Hi guys, I hope you're all really well. I wanted to come and do a quick video. I've got Darcy as my little wing woman in the back. Yeah, I just wanted to do a video about podcasts. I love them, like I'm an absolute convert, and I'm still exploring. I feel like I'm definitely behind the times with the whole podcast thing, but I am just loving listening to all sorts of different types of things. I thought, well, why not recommend a few that I quite like and get people involved, and you will be hooked, I swear. In the gym, I find them really good in the gym because, again, with music, I shut out. It must be because I've listened to so much music, maybe, that my brain is able to just kind of shut it out, and I'm not a big gym lover. So I need something to kind of keep me going and keep me motivated, which podcasts are fantastic because I'm just listening and time just goes by. And for me, that is brilliant. So what I thought I would do is just tell you a few of the ones that I'm listening to now and absolutely obsessed with. Yeah. I'm going to be using my phone, but I think that's helpful. So I love the Acast app. It's just way more interactive. You can look through photos that were taken whilst the podcast was happening. So it's just a very much more in-depth, so you can see more as well. I also do have the Apple Podcasts because I've got the Apple app, obviously, because I've got an iPhone. Yeah, those are the two that I use the most, but the Acast one is probably the one I use more because of the extra information and the photos. Actually, no. I'm going to start with the Apple Podcast because there is one that I listen to that's actually not on Acast. So there is one show, and there's probably quite a few that are on one and not the other, so don't go by just Acast. I'd have a look on both, but just like this. So this show is called Take Fl1ght, and it's by Whittle, and basically it's all about he interviews different successful people, so entrepreneurs or different business people, and finds out their methodology behind the way they think and how they do so well in business and how they're so successful. And it's just really interesting and inspiring because if you are an entrepreneur or you've got that kind of business mind, you kind of are listening to the people who have made it and the successful people and what they've done, and it kind of just fills you with a lot more motivation into like you are thinking on the right lines, or they make you maybe think differently on how things happen. And if there's an interview with someone that you can very much relate to, so an interest that's of yours, that's really, really useful. And the blurb on it says, join Whittle, the host of Take Fl1ght podcast, the UK's aspiring #1 business podcast, as he shines a spotlight on UK's greatest success stories. Listen to conversations with some of the highest achievers, from entrepreneurs to elite athletes, to adventurers and all-round hustlers. Expect raw, actionable advice that you can incorporate into your own life and to drive you closer to your goals. If you're a high achiever and you love taking aspirations from others, or you're aspiring to be greater and want some motivation to help you get there, this podcast is for you. We talk mindset, overcoming obstacles, and book suggestions and more. So yeah, it's really, really good. And I tell you what got me into it, and it's probably, I think it's maybe where he took off, I think, just because he's talked about it a few times, is he did a podcast with Lydia Elise Millen, who is an amazing blogger and vlogger and just all-round entrepreneur in the beauty world, and I just love her. I absolutely love her. She is my go-to blogger personally, so there's a little insight into my life there. But yeah, I love her, and when I saw that he'd interviewed her, I was like, I have to, not that I don't want to be a beauty blogger, but I just love the way she does things and does her videos and just how she is. So I was like, oh my god, I have to listen because I like that side of it. And it was really, really interesting. But he's interviewed sports people, so he's interviewed rugby players, Ben Kuma. He basically started his own health and nutrition brand, and it was really, really interesting. So yeah, I've listened to all of Whittle's podcasts. and it's really good, and they also give you really good book suggestions. So that is definitely one recommendation for you, and that is on the Apple Podcast app. So for the others, I'm going to go on to acast. Okay, so one that I listen to mainly, well, always in the mornings, whether on the weekends or in the gym often, on the way to work, if I'm driving to the office, I'll put this on as well, is Happy Place, and that's by Fearne. It's all about mental health, and she interviews some amazing people to talk about their journeys with mental health, and everyone's got a different journey, everyone's had different things happen to them, and some of them you relate to, some of them you don't, but it's really interesting to hear about that person and what's gone on with them. So far she's got 11 episodes. I've not listened to all of them yet, but I'm definitely working my way through it. She did a great one with Dawn French and Paloma Faith. Stephen Fry was incredible, as you can imagine. Zephyr Wildman, I'd never heard of her before, and that was probably my favourite, probably because it was the most relatable to me. It's a very sad story, but she was very, very motivational in the way that she thinks and lives her life now, so I really enjoyed that one. But yeah, she's got loads of I've just seen that she's done one with Emma Willis, which that would be really good. So I'm going to just quickly read her little blurb, because it's not fair if I don't. Fearne talks to incredible people about life, love, loss, and everything in between, as she reveals what happiness means to them. So it's not doom and gloom. It's never, obviously there's going to be sad stories, because mental health unfortunately is a real thing, and it's a very sad subject to talk about, but it's done in a really motivational and happy way. So another one that I really, really enjoy at the moment, I listened to it this morning in the gym, is Ctrl-Alt-Delete by Emma Gannon, who is the host, and she is an author, and I bought her book, The Multi-Hyphen Method, which I'm currently still reading, but it's awesome. And she also has a book called Ctrl-Alt-Delete. She's just a very, very you can not stop listening to her, and it's just very, very thought-provoking, and again you hear a different side of these people. So I've just listened to one with Alderton, and that was really interesting, because obviously I know her from the bigger films that she's doing, but she'd actually just finished another film that was filmed in the UK, and it was just really, really interesting. So I'm going to read the about for that. So she says, I interview people I admire with the themes in my book Ctrl-Alt-Delete, such as the internet, social media, feminism, creativity, identity, mental health, life, careers, and everything in between. So that really does sum up the way she does it. The way she presents and the way she is with people is so natural and really, really great. I mean, she's been doing this for years, and she's just a fantastic writer and says things in the right way, which is something I would love to be able to do. So the High Low is presented by two women, Dolly Alderton and Pandora Sykes, and they just work so well together. You cannot help but laugh through some of the things that they talk about, but it's very much a weekly dose of pop culture, which is actually what it says in the blurb, so nick that from there. So the little blurb says, a weekly pop culture / news podcast brought to you by Dolly Alderton and Pandora Sykes, the former co-hosts of Pandora podcast. It's under the society and culture section. What they say is who they are, and it's just very good. It's quite a nice way to kind of find out what the world is talking about. With podcasts, there's no order. Like, they're very much a radio show in themselves. So say the High Low, because there are 64 episodes, you don't have to start from the beginning. You can start at number 20, or you can even start at 64 and go from there, whatever catches your eye. Some of them I read the title and I'm like, yes, I definitely need to listen to that, and others I'm like, I'm not sure that's for me. So it's very much what's going on at this moment in time, what's everyone talking about in the news. At the moment I'm switching between Happy Place in the morning and this one, which is called At Home With. It's presented by two bloggers and content creators, Lily Pebbles and Anna Newton. The podcast series that is part through the keyhole and part having a good old chat on the sofa with your mates. The 2 seasons of their chart-topping podcast see them interview a whole bevy of guests in the comfort of their own homes. So it's a very great, again, it's very beauty oriented. Actually, it's not always beauty oriented, it's women in business, so it's got that business entrepreneur side of it. You're going into these people's homes. You've got Joe Alvin, you've got Lizelle, to Alexa Ng, who is the founder of Cult Beauty. That was very, very interesting. And so it's got that business element, so you're hearing like how they created the business and where they are now and what happened in between, and it's just very, very interesting. Terry de Gunsberg, who is the creator of By Terry, the makeup, very expensive, but I'm a big fan anyway. If you're into makeup, then you're going to absolutely love it. I listened to Madeline Shaw, that was really cool, and because it's on the Acast app, they've uploaded the photos, so you can like flick through, and you know when you listen to a story and you're picturing the location, it's really nice because obviously they're doing the same in the podcast, and they're saying, right, we're in Madeline Shaw's kitchen or Lizelle's living room, and so you kind of build this image. It's just really nice that you can then look through the photos and just kind of create that image even more, which is really nice. It's just fun and girly, and for me, it's got all sorts of parts to it that I really enjoy. So At Home With is one of the best podcasts I listen to. And that's really it. I kind of hope that was interesting and could help you decide, yes, I'm gonna listen to a podcast. If you do, I'm really, really glad. It's definitely going to give you a whole new look on how we can get news and information out there. I really enjoy it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Take care, guys.